Good morning, sunshines. Today is Sunday, the 7th of April, 2024, and I did all of my outside things that I needed to do, like out of my house yesterday. So today I am hanging out at my house. My plans are reading and crafting, and I have a letter to respond to. So I'm here to check in about something. Next month, I am going to a wedding, and I really only have two dresses that are like that I would feel comfortable wearing to a wedding, and this is one of them. And I had to cut myself out of it last time I wore it because the zipper broke. Like it got stuck, it wouldn't move. It's just stuck. So I had to cut it out. So I am going to replace it today. I don't have a sewing machine, so I'll be sewing it in by hand. And I don't know where I put the zipper right this second. Oh, there it is. So I did not get the same exact type of zipper to replace it. I got all-purpose zipper, and this is my gray thread because when I originally bought this dress, these back panels were too long for my body, so I shortened them. So I'm going to fix this zipper, and then I'm going to try on the dress because I don't even know if it still fits because I haven't worn it in 2 years. So we'll see. But this is my big project for today. I also have a finished object, but hold on. Sorry. This is the first clip of the vlog, isn't it? And I didn't even properly introduce myself. I'm Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, BunniPhish in all the places. If there's a BunniPhish, it's probably me. So I have this hat that I made for a student at school. On Thursday, we played a game, and everybody who participated won a prize. I have a prize box, and in my prize box are some hand knit hats, but the one she picked was too small for her. So I told her I'd make her a hat, and she said she wanted a rainbow. So I found this ball of yarn at my local Meijer, which is like a big grocery store sort of deal. And this hat just didn't want to come into being for a little while. I was going to the movies, so I was like, okay, I'll cast on a hat. And I brought 2 knitting needles, a size 5 and a size 7, depending on what yarn I could use, because I thought I was going to get a worsted weight. This is definitely more of a chunky, so neither of those needles were going to work. And the hook that I brought was not the right size. So I ended up buying a pack of hooks because they were on clearance, and they're a brand of hooks that I want to get a set in anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, perfect. And so I started crocheting the hat at the theater. I got through the crown and I was like, no way is there enough yarn to crochet this into a hat. I'm going to run out. So I decided to wait until I got home and knit a hat. Got my interchangeable needle, started knitting the hat on a size 10 US needle, and got somewhere around here-ish, I think, and the needle broke. The cable broke. So then I came home because yesterday we went to the movies, and then I went to one of my previous students, my knitting students. I went to her house and we hung out. And so then I came home and I grabbed a different needle and finished out the hat. But oh my goodness, this hat it's not the hat's fault. The hat's fine, fabulous, perfect. It just was having a rough go at becoming a hat. But now it's finished. I can give it to that student tomorrow. Very exciting. Hello, sunshines. It's Friday, April 12th, and it is not quite 6 in the morning. I am just checking in with you because I have finished 3 books so far this month, and I think at my lunch break today, I'm going to return 2 of them to the library and pick up a couple more books I have on hold. It is wild how much time I have for reading now that I'm not studying. Like, duh, obvious, right, Heather? But still, I feel like I've read so much. So it's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. So this book was personally hard for me because I've talked about this before, but if you're new here, my brother was in and out of mental institutions from the time he was super, super young. I don't even really remember when the first time he went in was. I think he was maybe like 5. So I spent a lot of time in like youth wards of hospitals, and I have sat with people, friends and such, at just so rude. Makes all the noise. I've sat in wards with friends and family members as they were dealing with the things that they were dealing with. So on a personal level, it was pretty triggering. Not to say that it wasn't enjoyable's not the word, but valuable maybe is the better word. Frappuccino is very noisiest. Yeah, I think it was very honest, and I think the portrayal was worth the read. It was written by someone who did a visit to a mental ward. So, yeah, I think it was worth the read. Personally, it was hard to read. Kind of. I had to take frequent breaks, but the reading was very enjoyable. The writing is very, very good. The subject matter for me, though, was personally triggering. I also read When He Was Wicked. Yeah, I'm gonna finish the series, but I'm not gonna read any of the spin-off series that go with it. Because, again, there was like this... there's an element that just like grossed me out. There's this moment where there's coercion, and like sex is used in the coercion, and I can't with that. And in The Duke and I, similar, like, rape happened in The Duke and I, and it was just like brushed aside because it was female on male, and I can't with that. Like, that's not okay. And now coercion with sex, that's not okay. So other than like that 10 pages of the book, it was an okay read. It wasn't spectacular, it wasn't amazing, but like, other than those 10 pages, I liked it better than the previous book. But then those like 10 pages happened, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? Why are we pretending like this is okay? So that's my feeling on that. I don't hate it enough to DNF the rest of the series. There's 2 more books, I think 2 or 3, but I just heavy on the side eye on that series. And then Court of Frost and Starlight. This is book 3.5 of the Court series by Sarah J. Maas, and I thought this was okay. It was kind of like it's like the Christmas special. It's not Christmas, but that's what it is. It's the winter solstice. So, you know, it was, it's short. It's a novella. It's only like 230 pages. Enjoyable. Got to read books from perspectives that we haven't read books from before. It made me cry a couple times. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as book 2 or book 3, but I liked it. It was okay. And I think I have book 4 on hold at the library today, which is why I think I'm going to go on my lunch break. Hello, sunshines. Happy April 21st. It is a Sunday. And I'm just quick checking in about a couple things I finished, a couple books. So also I've been working through like mini skeins, so I've been doing some scrappy things, which is really, really exciting. I just wanted to quickly show those to you. Okay, so finished things. I told one of the kiddos at school I would make her a hat. She said dark blue. I had this skein of, I don't know, I would imagine Lion Brand homespun. Don't actually know, but it's just well, it's not just anything. It's crocheted up here, and then I put a knitted brim on it. And when I make hats in crochet, I like to work from the crown down. When I work hats in knitting, I like to start at the brim. Yeah. So that's this hat. I used a size J hook to crochet it and a US 10 millimeter, not millimeter, US size 10 knitting needle to knit the brim. So yeah, just no pattern, just kind of went with it. I did front post double crochets to create the texture on it, just to give me something fun to do. Super quick project. I did it yesterday in between doing other things. I bound off this morning just because I don't like binding off at night. I don't like it. It takes too much brain power and it makes me grumpy, so I didn't. I also finished, last month I was talking about wanting to start fingerless mitts for my coworkers, and I finished the first pair. So the pattern is, I did not use my own pattern, which is tick mitts, but if you make the tick mitts, which is a pattern by me, you'll get something like this with the like graduated ribbing effect. But that's made for fingering weight yarn, and I used worsted weight yarn, so I just took the idea and did it in worsted weight. And this yarn is Black Sheep Dye Works in Moss Tonal. So you can see that. So yeah, one pair of mitts done. Pretty excited. I don't know if I'm going to start another pair of mitts soon or not. I don't know. I am working on a few things that I'll show you probably next weekend, because it's the last weekend of the month. If I don't finish them, I will. I'm definitely going to finish at least one project and one more book before the end of the month. But speaking of books, I have finished 2 since I last saw you. One is The Fairy Tale Life of Dorothy Gale. I actually really, really enjoyed this book. I don't like The Wizard of Oz, the story as it is, like the kid story. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't. But I really, really, really liked this story. And I enjoyed the cast of characters. The whole thing was just, it was so enjoyable. So very enjoyable. So if you like modern day, like it's definitely modern day, no magic involved, kind of slice of life sort of deal-ish. about a graduate student who runs away from Kansas to Dublin. Like, it's pretty enjoyable. I read it in 3 days. And at least one of those days was a school day. So, it's pretty good. I also read a novella called Some Velvet Morning by Nancy A. Collins, which is part of a collection of stories, a series, called the Sonia Blue stories. And it's, she's a vampire, but not... She's not fully a vampire, so she hunts vampires. It's very, very enjoyable. I like it. I like her a lot. And I've read Some Velvet Morning before, so this was a reread for me. But I kind of think that I might reread this series sometime this year, because I am flying through my TBR. Like, whoa. Because I've already finished that would be books 4 and 5 for this month. I'm definitely going to finish a 6th and possibly a 7th this month. And that's with no school breaks or anything like that. No days off of school. What? I forgot how much information my brain likes to absorb when I'm not being forced to study. So I feel like I'm going to be reading a lot over the summer. A lot. So I'm already building my TBR. I'm already making my summer to-do list. That's already going. And speaking of summer to-do list, I have a couple ideas for some things that I want to work on. I definitely want to continue working on my bingo goals for sure. But I'm not looking at those yet to see what I want to accomplish during the couple months off for summer break. But I have this cross stitch, which I don't know how far I am on it. I just actually refound it again this morning as I was tidying some things, and let's see how far we are. Oh, not very far at all. How cute is that? Oh, that's an errant green fluff on there. I'm pretty sure I was carrying this around last summer, and I would have just clipped my ends and put them in the bag so they wouldn't fly all over the place. So, I would like to finish this summer. I think that's a good goal. And I have a blanket project that I want to make this summer as well. So remember I was talking about maybe having to order yarn for things from Knit Picks. I'm definitely going to have to order the blanket yarn for the Pride blanket from Knit Picks, which means I have to work on the hat, the witch's hat, so that I know whether or not I need to order yarn. I don't know yet. I've been making progress, pretty decent progress, but I can't work on it a lot every day because it hurts my hands. The hook plus the yarn is giving me a gauge that is great for the hat, but like it hurts my hand. So anyway, I want to make this. Starry Night Totoro? What? Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to make this for my friend because I think she'll love it. And it's so cute. So I'm going to be ordering some of that. It is frustrating though because it tells you like hooks and colors, but it doesn't tell you how much of each color. I don't love that. So maybe, will I be ordering yarn from Knit Picks? Or will I be going to big box store and getting Red Heart Super Saver? Because then I can get more easily. Or do I just try to guesstimate? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for these two ideas. And also I love planning. Ooh, speaking of, I think I'm gonna do more vlogs in May because it's my birthday month and I have some fun things planned, and I just kind of I'm feeling like I have more energy for podcasting and vlogging, probably because I'm done with studying. I don't want to commit to doing weekly episodes forever, but I think I would like to weekly check in May. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right, I will check in with you again in about a week for me, in just a few seconds for you. Hey, Sunshines. It's a little bit later on the 21st. And this is my bias strip blanket, which you haven't seen in a little while, but I will be talking about next weekend. And I'm putting in a yarn. But I've started working on the purple stripe of the Pride blanket. And I'm working on it, and I started this, and I'm not using a pattern. So I was like, something looks off. So this is where the black and brown, blue and pink stripes would be. And then this is what the purple would look like. So I cast on and I'm going up this way. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to look right. Like, is my concept, I didn't do any research on how this would work. I was like, is my concept of how to turn it this direction going to work? And so I decided to knit it on a very small scale to test it out, because on the larger scale, I'm just not sure. It's like it's looking not how I envision it. So part of it is that this part of the purple is all bunched up, but I'm pretty sure that is because there's no weight on that garter stitch section, right? Like the blanket, I'm at 10 garter ridges right now, so that's only 20 rows. So that's going to stretch out as there's more weight to the blanket. And then this part right here, I don't know if you can tell in the black yarn. I changed at the black yarn, so it would be really easy for me to tell where the transition was. But here I was slipping my stitch on the return row, and here I was purling it, so it's giving it a little more space to move this way. And I like it better with a little more space. So do I want to rip back those so many? Do I really want to rip back 20 ridges? Or do I just want to do it differently going forward? I'm leaning towards just doing it differently going forward. Yeah, I'm not going to rip out that work. Will my kid even notice? Probably not. But going forward, I am going to change it up. Okay, whew. I'm glad I did this, because otherwise I'd be like second guessing myself on that blanket for a long time. Good job, brain, understanding math and stuff. Even if I don't know how I know that this rate that I'm doing things would work, because I'm not, I'm knitting together along this edge, but I'm not knitting a 1-to-1 ratio together. So, all right. I'm glad I checked that. Can't wait to show you the Pride blanket shortly. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this more when I sit down, but I just finished this sock. And when I was working on the second sock, I was doing the cuff and I was like, this seems long. This doesn't seem right. But I was at school. And I was like, well, I'm finished with it. I'm going to start on the leg and start the heel and stuff. And then I didn't bring it home for a few days and got pretty far down it. and realized that the second leg, I made it 5 rounds longer. So I'm going to do a little surgery and take this back, or take off the top 5 rounds. It's fine. These things, they happen. I would rather do that than try to pick up stitches along the top and do 5 additional rounds. That sounds like a terrible idea. So yeah. Oh, so silly. Hello, sunshines. It is the 27th of April, and it is Saturday. I was not planning to record, so I'm a little unprepared. So if I seem a little scattered, that's why. We literally just got back like 2 minutes ago from the movies, and I was like, oh, it's sunny. It's supposed to rain. It was supposed to rain all day today, and then we got some hours of sun. But while I was at the movies. And it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, and it's supposed to rain for the rest of the month, so we're dealing with this partial lighting situation. And my glasses are super dirty, sorry. But anyway, I figured since we have some sun today and it's not raining right this minute, I would come check in with you about a couple things. So hopefully the lighting is like, okay, enough. I'm sorry it's going to go in and out. It's what we're doing with natural lighting. I am so excited. Okay, so first I finished this pair of socks. And can you see that orange water thing over there? Oh, can you see my movie cup? Normally I would have moved that, sorry. That orange, right there. That has the other sock in there. I promise they're both finished. I didn't plan on recording, so I got things blocking this morning. And then I was like, oh, I'll record. So anyway, I finished these socks. And this yarn was from Humble Bumble. They have since changed their name to something about spiders. Arachne something like that. This yarn was the Quasar colorway, Quasar. And this yarn is so fun. This is still damp, but this yarn is so fun. Look at how bright that is. This is for my kid's dad. And yes, I'm using the incorrect side of the sock blocker because his feet are huge. They're ginormous. Look at that compared to my head. That's a giant foot. So I just made shorties, and I had a lot of this left over. I didn't weigh it, but enough to go into all of my blankets. It's going to go into all of my blankets. I haven't gotten it quite there yet. I've put it into the linen stitch blanket. I've made a hexapuff. I've made a flower. Did I say I put it in my linen stitch blanket? I can't remember. So next up, I'm going to put it in my bias strip, and then I'm going to put some in my nor'easterly, and then I have an idea for a project that I want to do. For my sister, for a cowl that's just out of like purple, blue, some pinks, and greens. Like basically if it makes me think mermaid. I'm sorry, this lighting is bananas. I'm still going with it. I'm going with it. Because it could be worse tomorrow. Or later this week when it's the end of the month. So I'm going to use some of it in there. And I'm thinking the maximum amount I want for a color chunk at a given time is 15 rounds because I want it to be really scrappy. Maybe only 10 rounds though because I want it to be really scrappy. So I'm probably going to start that too. But I also kind of want it in my reading blanket, and I'm all caught up on my reading blanket, so I don't have a book to put it in for right this second. So I don't know. This scrap is not going to be immediately all used up, except kind of, because I love it. Look at how fun that is. It's just so gorgeous. I love this. The other thing I finished, y'all, the stitch marker is on the other sock, which is getting ready to block. I finished the Heartsplosion Colorwork socks, and I took a picture of the inside of the colorwork, which looks beautiful. I took a picture of what the unblocked and blocking sock looked like next to each other so you could see like how different it looks after it's blocked. I am so happy that it's finished. It's beautiful. The pattern is lovely, and if I had made different yarn choices, this would have been done so much faster. You cannot tell. You cannot tell on the screen. It looks super high contrast. And the yarns are not that non-contrasting, but in person, there's just this one purple, like this purple right here. When the light is not bright, so if it's a really overcast day or it's evening time, it's indistinguishable from the black. So it's beautiful here, it's high contrast here, it's even a high contrast in person, except when it's dark, and then can't work on it. But we've had, I think I was somewhere in here, but you'll see the stitch marker. I'll pop up the picture again of them blocking next to each other so you can see where I was when I picked up this sock. And it wasn't that much, but it was still a lot of a colorwork chart. But we've had some days like today where there's like just enough sun where I could see things. And every time there's been a sunny day, I've done at least 2 rounds this month so that I could finish this sock. And the socks are finished, and I am so excited to have this finished and to mark off this bingo square. Like, pattern is Heartsplosion by Alendria Knits. You know I love her patterns. I love testing for her. So it's not about the pattern. The pattern is great. The pattern is lovely. I used, what's that called? Ladderback jacquard as a technique while doing this color work, because like you can see this heart is a big blob of black. So I did something, I did a technique called ladderback jacquard, which is where you make extra stitches that you work behind the work. So it's the idea of catching floats, but not catching floats. And if you've done color work and you've done where you've caught floats before, sometimes when you do that, it's visible a little bit on the right side. And here, like, look at this heart. You can't see any purple or pink bleeding through there. And that's, I think the one on the bottom is actually the biggest heart. And there's no pink or purple blips because ladderback jacquard. It's a little tricky, just a teeny bit tricky when you're first learning how to do it. But after you figure out how to do it and how to make the kind of duplicate fabric that goes behind the knitting, it's really super easy. It's really easy to make a stitch on the back that you just carry up, and it's easy to decrease them out. Really, really cool technique. Highly recommend for color work where you have longer floats instead of catching the floats. I would do this instead. And then this is not a finished object, but it's a big chunk of an object finished. So this is a blanket that I can't even remember the last time I showed on this channel. Probably, I mean, I would assume when I was talking about the year of the blankets, I showed this. So last year, beginning of the year, maybe I showed this, or was that 2 years ago? I don't remember. When was the year of the blankets? 2 years ago, right? Yeah, 2 years ago. So this, I've been working on this forever. It's like all of my scrappy blanket projects. I start them when I start them, and they finish when they finish, and I'm not too concerned about what the timeline is, just that I work on them here and there. But I have 5 rows of this. Da-da-da-da. And I call it my bias strip blanket. There's not a pattern for it, although I think the designer of the Nor'easterly has a pattern that's similar to this, like where it's just worked on the bias in one direction, not like the Nor'easterly where it chevrons. I think she has one like that, but mine is different because I knit the strips and then I single crochet them, but alternate which strip I single crochet on, so it gives it this, I don't know if you'll be able to see, hopefully you will. I think you can. This nice little texture, that's on the right side, and then on the wrong side it looks like basically nothing. So yeah, I finished a strip. It's been a long time since I finished a strip because if you've been here a while, you already know that all of my blankets have rules. If you haven't been here, you don't know that, and let me go ahead and tell you this blanket's rule. So this blanket's rule is, there's 2 rules. So if the yarn is a speckle, tonal, anything like that, oh, that's a bad example, bad place to show an example. Okay, here's a good place. Then it would go into a strip, and the amount of garter ridges that would go in would be a multiple of 5. I think the longest that I've knit any is 25. I usually do 5 or 10, just enough to give a little blip of the color. I don't think, this one, nope, that's 2 10s. So sometimes the yarns that I use in it are pretty similar in color, so they kind of just like, it looks very watercolory and just flows into the next, and sometimes not. This one right here, I said this was a bad example because this is 1 garter ridge each, but of 25 colors. So when I had a advent calendar from my friend Haley one year, I knit 1 garter ridge of every color, which made it a lot of ends, but I knit in my ends. I don't weave in my ends. I knit them in as I go. So it's not so much. It's not so bad. But that's what that looked like. And the corner, the beginning corner is a different yarn. So I do that beginning corner in a yarn, and I could do ridges after that. That would be fine, but I start with the beginning corner. When the yarn is self-striping, so this is not striping, this is not striping, that's a pretty big chunk. I think that's still only 15 ridges. Also not striping. But when it is self-striping, as you can see in these 2, I do a full repeat of the yarn. So a full repeat, but end before the repeat begins on a solid ridge, so that they're not like, how do I explain? So like here, you can see how it's got purl ridges, but that's part of the self-striping colorway. That's fine, but I don't end it so that the next colorway will make purl ridges, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are my rules for this blanket, and I love it. I think it's so beautiful. I have one other strip like halfway done, and then in May, I don't think that I said specifically that, so I recorded a little like May 0.0 thing because I want to do May vlogs, so go check that out. That's probably up before this is. I don't know if I specifically said that I want to do 1 stripe of this a day in the strip, as well as doing a stripe a day in a sock. Those are my like May goals for myself, and using a scrap of yarn. Okay, I just told you half of the things in the May vlog. Whatever, still go watch it. It's gonna be fun. So I just wanted to show you, because I don't finish a lot of strips. Obviously, I've been working on this blanket for years and I only have 5 strips finished. But again, it'll get finished when it gets finished, and it's only yarn that I like love. If it's just a yarn that I'm like, that's okay. then I don't put it in here. Like if the colorway is just or if it doesn't have like a story behind it, like these, this is another instance where, because Haley sent me more than one advent calendar, so that's another advent section on this blanket. Yeah. I don't know what I was saying. I don't know. I just wanted to show you because I love it and it is bringing me so much joy, and I'm so excited. So excited for this one in 20 years when it's finished. It's fine. I don't need it before then. I do really quick want to talk about a book that I finished 2 days ago. I finished the book A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, and y'all, okay, so that's book 4 in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. So back when I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I was like, people say this series is spicy. Where's the spice? It's in book 4. Like, there's a little bit of like maybe someone threw some garlic in the first couple books, but like someone brought out the whole kitchen for book 4. Okay? Like, this is where the spice is. It's very spicy. A lot of spices. I'm sorry, there's a fly in here. I'm sure it's been driving you crazy because it's been driving me crazy. Frappuccino, get the fly. He's usually a very good hunter. He'll get it. Must have just got in when we got in from the movies. Yes, you're very perfect. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh, so A Court of Silver Flames has all the spice. It also follows 2 characters who have been like supporting characters in the other books as the main characters. Love it so much. One of them is my favorite of all time so far. I guess I can't say all time because there could be more books coming. There aren't more books in the series right now, like as of the second the series is finished, but it has one of my favorite characters is the main character. I love her. I love her so much. And the male love interest, he's pretty good too. I enjoy reading about him also. And then there's a like supporting character who's not, I was gonna say human. They're not humans, they're fae. But who's not like, it's a thing. One of the supporting characters is the thing. Love it. I love it so much. My little like Disney Princess Beauty and the Beast heart is like, magical thing. Yes, I love you. So this is my favorite book of the series so far. Yeah, it's my favorite. And if there are more books in the series, I'm excited for it. And if there aren't more, then I'm glad it went out on this book. But either way, I'm good. I do have plans for another cast on that I'm not going to cast on before the end of the month, I don't think. This is going to be my like work knitting, but I have another project that I think I can take to work for a few days, which I'll talk about at the end. Hopefully there's a day where I can still record this month so I can show you my whips. But I'm going to cast on this, which is from 716 Knit. It's 716 sock. It's called Buffalo Skinks. It's a self-striping. I think, not 100%, but I think it's going to be a pair of Mystic Spirals. I haven't made a pair of those in a while. I'm kind of feeling it. It's kind of what I want to do. So that's what I'm thinking. I may change my mind. It could just be plain vanilla. We are in the middle of testing season, so I am exhausted frequently, but who knows? All right, I will see you for me in a couple days and for you in a couple seconds. So a really quick look at the Pride blanket. I started doing an I-cord edge on it because I think that will look really nice, but using the same needle size as the blanket, this I-cord is just way too tight. So the needle that I'm using, I already pulled it out. There we go. It's a US 8 5.0 millimeters. So I think I'm going to go up to a 9 or a 10. I don't know. I haven't decided which one. But I want to start the I-cord edging because I don't hate I-cord edging. I love the way it looks. I don't find the doing of it very fulfilling. So I'd rather work on it a little bit here and there and get it close to where I need it to be to do an I-cord bind off at the end instead of having to do the entire thing as a border. Hello, sunshines. It is Tuesday, the 30th of April, last day. So I'm here with my wrap up for the month. Where to start? Okay. Let's start with, I finished some things and I showed them to you, but they were like blocking and stuff. So I know you believe me that I finished them, but I'm going to show you anyway. So here are the socks for my kiddo's dad. And here are the Heart Explosion socks. Oh, both of them finished. So at the beginning of the month, I think, or last time I showed them to you, I was here. So I finished the gusset, I did the foot, I did the toe. Really couldn't have done it without the sunlight this month. So thank you, April, for having some sunny days. I also really liked the rainy days, but I needed the sunny days to finish this. But now they're done. I made those for my work wife, so I'm going to give them to her tomorrow. I'm very excited. Also, I'm so excited because tomorrow is May 1st. It's the first day of May vlogs. It is the countdown to my birthday. It's very exciting. And speaking of countdown to my birthday, I got a package yesterday from my friend Christina. Thank you, Christina. Hopefully I have already messaged you to say thank you, but I know sometimes I forget because ADHD. But she sent me this lovely package of minis, so I'm super excited. So excited to have minis to work into various blankets. Uh-oh. I have a whip that I left at work. I think I left it at work. It is a cowl. It's just going to be a tube cowl, and it's going to be a long-term project, and I'm making it with purple, pinks, and blues. I'm thinking maybe every once in a while a green. Somewhere in there, mermaidy colors. I feel like I talked to you about this in an earlier clip. If I didn't, I'll talk about it sometime in May. I don't have a deadline for when I want that to be done. Well, I do, but it's a long way off. So I'm just gonna carry it around for work knitting here and there. I'm also going to a concert this week, which you'll see in May vlogs. And I checked, and their bag policy is tiny. But knitting needles are an allowed item. So I'll be bringing my knitting. And I'm going to bring that cowl. Or maybe I'll start a hat, because wooden needles versus the hat that I'm working on is carbons, so they have the metal tip. But I can always put point protectors on them. That's what I'm going to do, so I can work on the cowl. Anyway, you'll see that. Something to look forward to. So, I have a whip that I started yesterday. Yes, I ate. Thank you for checking on me. Phone. For those of you who don't know, who haven't been here forever, I have a 5 p.m. alarm that I've had, I don't know, forever. Probably close to a decade. To make sure that I eat dinner, because sometimes I forget. Like, not so much on school days, but on weekends and during summer and on school breaks. I forget that eating is a thing that I have to do. So I have a 5 p.m. alarm to make sure. I also, in the summertime, have a 2 p.m. alarm. And an 8 a.m. alarm to make sure that I'm, like,
drinking fluids and stuff. Anyway, I started this project yesterday. This yarn is from Shipwrecked Sheep, and I don't remember what these colorways are because back in 2023, early parts of 2023, probably a little more than a year ago, I made a pair of socks for my daughter and my niece using these yarns. So one is the color of the transgender flag. I don't remember what this one is, but I decided that I would use up the 2 scraps. I didn't take a before photo. This scrap is bigger though, and it goes all the way down to here. So this is going to be, I'm going to go until this ends for the cuff. Probably going to do like another 5 rounds and then start ribbing on this. So this will probably be done tomorrow because it's really simple work knitting. I didn't think that I was going to like working 2 at a time while I was at work, but because it's so simple, it was only 1x1 rib. I literally cast it on before I went to work yesterday. It was 1x1 rib, and I only did 10 rounds, and then it was just stockinette. And then I was really, really close to the thumb after school, so I cast on the thumb last night after school and did just enough rounds to get me into the thumb so that, cast on areas are really finicky. So just so I was past the super finicky part. And then, I've finished the rest of the thumb gusset, which is not perfect in its decrease rate. My plan was to do thumb decreases, so 2 decreases for the gusset every 3rd round, but I think in some places it's the 4th round. Well, whatever, it's fine. But I'm back to just stockinette in the round until I get to the ribbing. So I'm going to work on this at school tomorrow until it's done. I assume it's not going to take me the whole day. So yeah, just a few more rounds of stockinette, and then I will work on the ribbing. The reason why the cowl got left at school is because it's just 200 rounds. No, not 200. It's 120 stitches in the round, right? I think I did 120. That sounds right in my head. I don't think I did 200. I think I was going to do 200, and then I was like, that's going to be way too many. I think I did 120 stitches, but whatever. I cast on a bunch of stitches. I'm working them on that cowl on a US 2 with fingering weight scraps. So I'm working these mitts on a size 2 using sport weight scraps. And I think they're going to be cool. I'm not going to wear them. They're cool, but not for me. I wouldn't wear these colors ever because I wouldn't. They're not my colors. But I think that one of my kiddos or one of my sister's kiddos will wear them and like them, because even though most of us are we wear all black, they also do the neon pops of color or the obnoxious pops of color. That's kind of rude to say this is obnoxious. In my ADHD brain, though, it is. So, not that I can really talk at my pops of color t-shirt. So, yeah, I just wouldn't want to look at this on my hands all day. So they'll be good for somebody. We always need fingerless mitts. It happens. They get lost. So, and I would say for the most part, we all prefer to have fingerless mitts over having gloves, except when it's really, really cold. And then I definitely prefer to have mittens. So anyway, this will be finished tomorrow, which you'll see in the vlog. So exciting. Other things. Ooh, this is exciting. So I talked at the end of March about we're ignoring my cat. He's being very annoying. I apologize. if that's throwing you off. We talked about how I wanted to start the thigh-high socks for my kiddo. Yeah, I started them, right, with the, I think 120 stitches for the cast on. It's got elastic in it to help it stay up. And I wanted to have 6 stripes with the inside counting as one. Well, I went above and beyond and I have 6 stripes total on both socks. I have started decreasing, but just barely. So instead of 120 stitches, they're now 118 stitches each. But da-da-da-da, I met the goal. Yay me. So super proud of that. I would like by the end of May to do, let's see. I mean, I guess I would like to do another 6 stripes down the leg, so up to, let me drop my stitch marker. I'd like to be to 12 visible rounds total by the end of the month. I feel like that's reasonable for these, especially because they're going to have less stitches. I was doing a really great job of taking these to work and working on them during my lunch break, so that's pretty good. I did also take them as work knitting for a while, but now they're, I know this doesn't seem like it would be too long, but they're like too long and too heavy, and they are kind of big to fit in my pocket now, with the yarn as well, so they're just a little too cumbersome to be the perfect work knitting. But I can still take them to work on my lunch breaks. So there's that. I also, they're in separate bags now too because they don't quite fit. Well, they do. They could both fit in this bigger bag. But I also like having just the one to carry around. Oh, look at this bag. You probably won't even notice, but I have a couple, I forgot another whip over there. I'll grab it real quick. I had a few project bags that were looking pretty grubby. I, for me, would not purchase light colored bags because I know my life. Because I take my projects with me everywhere. They go with me everywhere. And they don't always sit somewhere nice. Sometimes they sit on the ground. Frequently they fall on the ground. And they go to the park and they go to the beach and they get dirty. My project bags get dirty. And light colored bags just... part of the reason why I wear black clothes is because I can't be trusted with light colored clothes. I know this about myself. So I dyed a couple of my project bags. This one you can kind of see, like it got, I don't know what's spilled on it, coffee, tea, something. Like it was kind of like a golden color. So it was a golden brown. And so I dyed this one and I dyed this one. And this is what I carry around that long sock in by itself. This bag, I had talked about wanting to finish a witch's hat for my sister's oldest kiddo, and I started it, but the combination of the yarn and the hook hurts my hands, so I can only do a little bit at a time, and I'm not quite to like ideal circumference, so I'm getting there. They wanted a really, really long one, so I found a witch hat pattern, I think from Red Heart. I don't exactly remember. And I kind of went with it, but there's a part where they do, basically it's an increase round and then 2 rounds in between. And at some point they changed the increase round and I'm actually at what they said should be the maximum stitches, which obviously not. Like that's too small. So I'm going to keep going with it, and maybe it'll be done by the end of May, but again, it hurts my hands. I'm using a size D crochet hook. Nope, size F crochet hook, which is a 3.75 millimeter with worsted weight yarn. This is Wool of the Andes Tweed in the Lighthouse Heather colorway. So hopefully my sister's kiddo likes it. Hey, if you're watching, send me a message. Let me know if you like it or not, or if I should make you something else. Sometimes they watch. Fine, I'll go deal with my cat. I'll be right back. So, in addition to those things, I also cast on this yarn I've had for a while. I'm pretty sure my friend Haley sent it to me. Big Twist Yarns Rainbow Classic. I'm just gonna make a hat and a cowl or fingerless mitts or something. I don't know. I'm starting with the hat on US size 5 needles. I was like, oh, maybe this can be, we went to the movies over the weekend, and I was like, maybe this will be my movie knitting. Well, I took it to the movies, and I did knit on it, but only as my backup project, because what I really worked on was the Pride blanket. Y'all, I made so much progress on this month. Hello, furry child. And I did not put, I have keepers, stoppers for the end of these needles. I did not put them on. See, my friends buy me these nice things. Look how cute they are. They say teach on them. These cute little needle end things. Then I only use them sometimes because. So I cast on that hat because I was like, well, I don't know if I can take the Pride blanket. Maybe it'll be too much to work on in the dark. I don't know, because this line right here, there's decreases and then slipping a stitch and then decreasing, and or no, it's slipping it, decreasing, slipping a marker, and then decreasing by like more than 2 stitches, and then turning with stitches still on the needle, like short rows. And I was like, oh, is this going to be too much to do in the movies? It wasn't. I finished the purple skein of yarn that I had with me when we went to the movies, and then I picked up the hat project. So I finished the first ball of yarn, and I am 2/3 of the way through the purple section. So it looks really bunched up right now. It's garter stitch. It stretches. It will stretch once it's washed. And I know I'm 2/3 of the way through because I'm doing 30 ridges, and this is at 20 ridges. So I'm doing really good on this blanket. I was in the black section. Ooh, I was really far down in the black section. Look at all that I did. I did all of that in this black section going this direction, and then I cast on the purple section, and it's attached like that, kind of. You'll see it better in a month or 2 or 5. I'm going to continue to work on this during May. My goal kind of is a ridge a day, so we'll see. Sometimes I do more, and if we go to the movies, this is really good blanket. Like, it's really good stockinette stuff, so I feel like there's a movie that I want to go see again soon, so that could happen. And then this is the surprise project. This is a project I did not know that I felt like I might work on it, but I did not know for sure that I was going to work on this project. I had a goal to put together 100 hexapuffs, and I accomplished that. And then I was like, well, I think I have a lot of hexapuffs, and maybe I have more than enough to make a blanket. So now I need to know, because if I do, then I kind of want to make a second blanket, and I already know the recipient for the second one, if I have enough to make a second one. So now I want to know if I can make a second one. So here is what I had together, this 100, and then I added on these. And then I added on this. So this is something that I had started putting together previously. You can see that they are together, but they're not attached. Like these ones right here are not yet attached, and then some of these ones down here are not yet fully attached, but a lot of them are like attached. I'm not going to push myself to finish this by the end of the year, but I might finish this blanket by the end of the year. I've already started the second one with hexapuffs from yarns that I'm using up now. So, because I think the intended recipient would really like these yarns, and I would hate for them to not be in both blankets. I'm so silly. So yeah, I foresee this getting a lot of work. Maybe not over the summer because it is getting bigger, and it doesn't have to sit on my lap per se, but like a little bit it does. So right now I'm just using this random gray to sew it together. I'm also using, because everything has to be a game, right? I'm also using a strand of whatever yarn from a project I finish. And a strand will take me basically around a hexapuff. It'll take me like 4 to 5 sides, maybe even 6, depending on how long I cut that length. So that's really exciting. And really quick, what am I finishing off the month reading? I am reading 48 Laws of Power. It's an okay book. It was recommended to me by somebody. It's okay. I definitely think that it pertains more to neurotypical people versus neurospicy people, but that's fine. And then I'm reading Daisy Darker, which I'm actually really liking. It's kind of a whodunit, which is not my normal book. It's not what I gravitate toward, but I'm really enjoying it. The Darker family goes to Grandma's house on an island for Grandma's birthday, and then murder happens, and they are trapped. It's not like an island. It has like a, what is that called, like a causeway or something that the tide covers at high tide, and then when it's low tide you can drive on it. So I'm really, really enjoying it. How is your April? How are you doing? I hope you're finishing it out pretty well. If you're in the northern hemisphere, I hope you're enjoying the warmth. If you are in the southern hemisphere, I hope you are enjoying some cool weather. I hope wherever you are, you're finding some joy in something, even if you're going through stuff that is not awesome. But I will ramble on more at you on the daily starting tomorrow, so let me get this out so you can see it and I can get it edited. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you have the best day that you can. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.